kids or kids that maybe probably not directly yours, but hey, you're feeding them or you're nurturing them spiritually or mentally, you are a father. So happy Father's Day. I am a father. I've got 3 children, and I know the enormity and the beauty of having children. It's such a privilege to be a father. So I'm trusting God that we will all get better at parenting and at fathering our children. You know, parenting is not a destination, it's an ideal. You know, you can't get to a point and say, I am now a good father, and then you stop. We never accomplish our ideals, we only accomplish our goals. I don't know, can I say it again? We really don't accomplish our ideals. What we accomplish is our goals. So yeah, so today I'm going to be sharing a few things that I've learned during the week that I believe or think will be of benefit to each and every one of you if you listen. So let me start with a documentary that I saw on Netflix. I'm currently watching that. You know, I can't sit down and finish a whole documentary, but it's called Chef's Table. It is on Netflix, and it's about the best chefs in the world. And yesterday's series was on pizza. So they were interviewing the guy that they consider to be the best pizza maker in the world. It's in Phoenix, Arizona, in America. And there was something the guy said if you think about it, it's the same water, it's the same flour, same ingredients, same onions, same ingredient. But the guy said something very profound. He said, what makes mine different is that it is based on the ingredients. It is what you put in that you will get out. He said if you like they say in computer parlance, garbage in, garbage out. So if you put great ingredients in, you will get a great meal. These guys at some point, they even started planting the ingredients themselves. They stopped relying on going to the market to buy the ingredients. They began to plant the ingredients by themselves because they now believe that it is a garbage that you put in, that is a garbage that you get out. In other words, the input determines the outputs. That's point number one. One of the things I learned this week is that the inputs is what is going to ultimately determine the outputs. So if you're looking at the output that you're getting in sales, in health, in every aspect of your life, it is usually tied to the quality and the quantity of the inputs that you put in. It's a basic law of physics. Every action has an equal reaction attached to it. So that is it. The inputs determines the outputs. That is the first thing that I learned this week. The second thing that I learned this week was also on Netflix as well. I mean, I renewed my Netflix subscription because of all this. I'm currently watching a documentary, a series about Arnold Schwarzenegger called Arnold. Because I'd read the book. I'd read his book and I was so impressed by it. So when I heard him say that his documentary was coming out on the 4th of June, I quickly renewed my Netflix subscription. And it was a great documentary. I've still not finished it as well. I don't intend to finish it in a hurry. And he was talking about the fact that he had a vision board in his room when he was growing up because he wanted to be like the strongest man in the world. He had pictures and images of very bulky and muscular men in his room. And he became that. he said when his agent called him about a movie, he told the agent that I don't want to be a movie. I don't want to be an actor. I want to be a star. I thought that was brilliant. He said, I don't want to be an actor. I want to be a star. So I was watching it with my children. I told them the same thing. You set your standards really, really high. And I found out something that when we set our standards really, really high, the world tends to pay for the standards that we set. Let me read a quote to you. The world tends to pay if we set really, really high standards for ourselves. This is a quote from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There was a line here that was so beautiful. If I can find that line here. I tweeted the line today when he was talking about the fact that I asked life for a menial's pay, only for me to find out that whatever I demanded of life is what life is going to pay me. You get that? He said that I asked life for a menial pay, but I later found out that it is what I ask life for that life is going to pay me. So it is what you and I demand of life. That is the thing that life is going to give to us. So it really got my instruction. I read it again this afternoon as I got back from church. And I thought that was profound. I thought that was really, 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 really powerful. So you want to be careful the kinds of demands that you make of life, because it is what you demand of life that life is going to give to you. All right, so that's the second thing that I learned this week. All right, so how many have I said now? How many things have I said now for those of you who are listening to this on Instagram Live and other platforms? How many things have I said that I learned today? I think I've said 3 now. I think I've said 3 things that I said that I learned this week as well. All right, so I hope you're learning something. I hope you're learning something. Thank you, Ministry of Furnishing. There's something that I learned from this book. It's called The Band of Brothers. It's about the Second World War that ended in September 1945. The Second World War ended in September 1945. And Stephen Ambrose wrote this fantastic book called The Band of Brothers. I have never read a book about the war before. Never read a book about the war before. So I went to a second-hand bookstore where I buy books. I buy books from different second-hand bookstores. I like second-hand bookstores a lot because you see a lot of cool books. And besides that, they are cheap. They're cheap, you know. Yes, I'm in the 3rd one now. So I'm reading this book. It's such a fascinating book on how soldiers are trained, and you get to appreciate the soldiers that fought for us. If not for the Second World War, if not for men like these, nobody would have known what the world would have turned into. Did you get that? So it is important that you appreciate soldiers for the great work that they have done to protect your liberty and your freedom that you are enjoying today. Because as you are enjoying the freedom, there are certain people around the world that want to take away that freedom. So these are men of force that have helped us. So there's a line in the book here that was so powerful. In page 46, reading it in page 46, he said that, I think it's 2 lines. I'm going to talk about the 2 lines here. He says once a week or so, they went out on a 2 or 3 day exercise. This is their role play now. The problems were designed not only to give them a working knowledge of the mechanics of combat, but to teach the most basic things of infantrymen. Teach the most basic thing an infantryman has to know. Did you get that? Their practice is to teach the most basic thing that an infantryman has to know. You know, a lot of times people want to learn the most superficial things, the shiny objects. And this guy is saying here that when they prepare soldiers for war, they teach them the most basic thing that an infantryman has to know. So you want to say to yourself in your own business, you got to stick to the basics. You got to stick to the fundamentals. In sales, what are the fundamentals? You pick up the phone, you call a client every day. You pick up the phone, you send an email every day. You send a WhatsApp message every day. There's nothing sexy about that. The beautiful thing about the basics is that it's what keeps you going. If you don't do the basics, you're not going to be successful. And many people miss the point. They've not mastered the basics. They want the shiny object. It's not going to work that way, honey. It doesn't work that way anyway. So they want to master the basics. So what is the basics for your own business? I want to figure that out. And the basics for them is how to love the ground. Number 2, how to use it to your advantage. I'm sorry, let me drink some water. And then number 3, there's something powerful that he said here that was so powerful. Let me share it. He said in number 3, how the terrain dictates the tactics. I thought that was powerful. He said number 3, it is the terrain that dictates the tactics. You don't force your tactics on the terrain. He says you study the terrain and let the terrain be the one that is dictating your tactics and not you. Your desires should not dictate the tactics. It is the terrain that dictates the tactics. Not because, this is from a war book. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Again, he said that we've got to master the basics that an infantryman has to know. So you got to see yourself that way. You're going to combat. This business is not a combat. It is. It's a combat with the ignorance of your customers. You're fighting war with things that your customers don't know. You're fighting war with the set ways that your customers are used to getting results that have not been getting them results. That's your war that you're fighting, isn't it? Come on, man. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? And then the guy says that you got to love the ground. Number 1. He says you've got to know that the terrain is what dictates the tactics. I thought that was brilliant. Great book, Band of Brothers, about the Second World War, 1945. It's a terrain that determines the tactics, not the other way round. Did you get that? So your terrain is your niche. Your terrain is your city where you operate at. Your terrain is the platform, the social media platform that you operate at. It is a terrain that should determine the tactics that you use, not the other way around. Are you getting blessed on tonight? Are you getting blessed? That's the 4th thing that I learned this week. Now, what is the 5th thing that I learned this week that I think will be of benefit to you? He says here, I love this line. It's so powerful, so beautiful. He says here, this is from Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I got the original version from Amazon.com. This is a great book. I want to encourage you to read this book every year. I am currently reading the book every now and then. It's such a fantastic book. You can see the way I have murdered it. I've actually read it a lot. So, marked it all over the place. Did you see that? Did you see that? I messed it up. But that's good. So let's look at some of the things that I learned in Think and Grow Rich. And here he was talking about the 6 definite practical steps for you to accomplish your goals. He says here, guys, if you're enjoying this, can you take a screenshot and tell your friends to come join us, or take a screenshot, put it in your stories. Drop a heart if you're learning from. You got to encourage me. Write a comment and tell me what you're learning. Those of you who listen to this on the podcast, you want to share this, you want to, write a comment or something. Follow me on all the social media platforms. Yeah, if you're learning something from all of this. Napoleon, he said there are 6 definite practical steps to accomplish your goals. He says the first one there is that you got to fix your mind on the exact amount of money that you want. It's got to be definite. I want a lot of money is not a goal. I want to be successful is not a goal. So you got to fix your mind on the definite amount of money that you want. He says number 2, you got to determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the desire. I thought that was powerful. What do you have to determine to execute and know what you intend to give in return for what you say that you want. Because life is an exchange of value for value. If someone gives you money, that is value. It is valuable to you. But if you give them a service or you give them a product, that is also valuable to the person. Did you get that? Did you get that? All right. So what do you intend to give in exchange for the value of money that you want? It says number 3 here. It says establish a definite date that you want this accomplished. And then number 4, it says create a plan to carry out these plans, this desire that you have. What is your plan to carry it out? What are your plans every day? How many sales calls are you going to make? How many networking events are you going to attend to? So these are the 5 things that I have learned this week. I'm trusting God and I'm hoping that you learn something from all of this. I want to make a call right now. If you want to grow in sales and read books like this, I have a WhatsApp group where I teach sales, marketing, and mindset every day from Monday to Friday. And every month in my WhatsApp group as well, we review a book. On the 15th of every month, we review a book. We have reviewed 6 books this year. Remaining 6 more books to go. We record the reviews. It is 15,000 naira to join the group. And on the 30th of every month, we have a prayer meeting in the group. We're having a prayer meeting on the 30th. It's called halftime because next month we enter the remaining half of the year. Which of you would like to join my WhatsApp group right now? Say I. Those of you listening to this on the podcast, you can click on the show notes to join the group. It's 15,000 naira to join the group for 3 months. And if you are not in Nigeria, it is $32 to join the group for 3 months. If you would like to join the group like right now, indicate by putting up your hand and say, Coach, I want to come to your WhatsApp group right now. You'll have access to my phone number. We can chat that way. Join over 300 people from all over the world in the WhatsApp community. Who wants to join the group right now? We network with each other and then we sell to each other. Somebody sold a property for 17 million naira to another person in the community as well. So who would like to join the group right now? Say I. Those of you who listen to the podcast, thank you for listening. Write a review and share this. Yeah, who would like to join the group right now? Say I.